is going to try this, and it will be a 60, let's call it 63-yard attempt. Spotted at the Bronco 47-yard line. Snap a little high. Elam's kick. Oh, the line drive. It's got enough distance.
Welcome into the Long Distance Kicks podcast. My name is Rhett. I'm with my brother Ian, and I feel like we witnessed some British humor this past Sunday. Ian, understated football, pretty pessimistic, but at the end of the day, the Broncos get a win. How are you feeling this Thursday evening?
I'm feeling good because we're several days removed from it. You know, there was definitely a
Mhm.
rock fight against the worst team in the league, at least record-wise. But we hung in there. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a member of Enjoy Every Win FC, and so look, a
Oh, there
win's
we
a
go.
win. So, you know, it was ugly. It was against a team that we feel like we probably should have dominated. There's a lot of bad stuff on film, especially on the offensive side of the ball, especially on special teams. But man, our defense was spectacular. So yeah, right. How do we want to jump into this thing?
I mean, I wanna talk about let's start with optimism. You brought up the defense.
Yeah,
I mean, I think anyone, even people with impaired vision or even full blindness could probably see that the Broncos had a dominant outing. But I want to hear from you. What is your takeaway when the Jets were on offense? What did you see? Was it really Denver dominating? Was it just is it the Jets that bad or the Broncos that good? What is it?
I mean, I think it was a perfect storm of both. Unbelievable showing. I mean, Justin Fields completed 9 passes and we had 9 sacks. You don't see that very often. One person who might not get as heralded because of all the big names we have on our defense, but this was Malcolm Roach's return. And he had some really nice reps. He was real
Mm,
integral up front to keep the pressure on Justin Fields. I think Jonathan Franklin Myers deserves some credit, kind of a revenge game for him being traded away from the Jets a few years ago by former GM Joe Douglas. He came to play. Man, just the continual pressure we put on Justin Fields, who, I think part of it is we're putting pressure on everybody, but Justin Fields especially. The
hmm.
dude's internal clock is just so slow, and you could see it, man. I mean, as he's dropping back, he just goes through his progressions at such a slow rate. And you know, I've always been a guy who likes Justin Fields, and I root for him, and I want him to succeed. But I think at this point, unfortunately, he kind of just is what he is. But hey, we're
Hmm.
not here to just talk about Justin Fields. This defense was incredible, man. You saw the way they matched up in terms of coverage. They were sticky. I do want to give credit because I feel like we rag on him a lot, and I want to give credit where it's due. I think Alex Singleton, in particular, had a really strong game. I
Hmm.
think he played really, really well. So I do want to give him credit when he plays well. He did awesome. Yeah, for as much as we're about to get into some less awesome stuff, our defense showed up multiple times, having to kind of start in their own territory because of gaps on offense or special teams, and still holding strong or even pushing the Jets' offense backwards out of field goal range towards the end there, man. Amazing effort on defense. Credit to Vance Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, I I feel like I feel like I've said this a couple times this season already, but it felt eerily similar. Maybe not in the way that the defense is constructed, maybe not in the way that exactly how it looks, but the emotional feeling, the way it felt, was like that 2015 defense. Not even knowing that they would go on to win the Super Bowl, but like early in the season, the Baltimore game, the Cleveland game against the Browns back in 2015, the I want to say the Minnesota game early in the
Yeah,
season,
man. That
where
2015 Browns one is a great comparison.
yeah, it was where there was a number of games early on when the offense did struggled through most of that year, even with Peyton, without Peyton. That was the year where it was like, oh God, is he over the
Well,
hill?
and even that specific game you brought up is interesting because that same scenario towards the end, I
Hmm.
remember Malik Jackson kind of had to knife through the line and sack Josh McCown out of field goal range to kind
Hmm.
of bail us out. So yeah, definitely good callback.
Thank you, thank you. And that's the thing is it felt I had that feeling again. I remember it was like late third quarter and we punted and the Jets got the ball. It was one of the only times all game where the Jets started a drive at like a normal place to start a drive. They started at like the
Yeah,
20 or like the 18 or something.
yep.
And I was like, two things. Number one, if they're at the 18, they might as well be on Mars. Like they might as well be all the
Yeah,
way back in New Jersey. They're not
yep. Yep.
this is not going to be a points drive. Like that's all right. And then also like I was like I feel like we have almost as good a chance scoring to actually like if the whole game was just like if we can get any more points, we will beat this team.
Yeah.
And those points felt as likely as anything to come from directly the defense. Like I was just like
it it was one of those things when we finally got that last field goal. There was just a sigh of relief for me because I was like, I know we're only up 2 points now, but I now that we're ahead late in the game, we're gonna win. And
but
it came down to that fourth down, and I'm thinking like, yeah, we're probably gonna end up sacking him on this play. Like
yeah.
really, as tense as the situation should have felt, I was like, oh, thank God, we're actually gonna get out of here. And
Yeah.
sure enough,
The confidence is just insane. And again, Vance Joseph tip of the hat to him. He last season was a lot of just the same thing over and over again. It was a lot of we're doing sim pressures, we're sending a whole bunch of people, we're blitzing a ton, and he's still blitzing a good amount. He's still playing a lot of man defense, but the last couple weeks he's shown some restraint and he's done a lot of sending just four guys. And this defensive line, I mean, is like it's been really cool to see that Nick Benito, Jonathan Cooper are not simply products of the system that they play in, which even if the system were helping them, even if they were, like this is still an incredible
yeah,
achievement that they've had statistically. But like those two guys are were just lining up and absolutely
yep,
just putting their guys in hell.
yep.
Snap to snap. Zach Allen, like you said, Malcolm Roach, shoring up a lot of the run defense. I mean, I feel like that was a huge part of it. The Jets never tried running a wheel route out of the backfield. So thanks. Like,
They didn't figure out our weekness.
whoops. Um,
It's
so
interesting. It's interesting. Like a couple of years ago, when Sean hired Vance Joseph, I think my mindset was, okay, we'll get through a year with Vance Joseph, and we got like, he can get rid of him, and he can promote Jim Leonard, or maybe like Dennis Allen will be available at that point. We can, and then then 2024 came around, and it was more of like, well, okay, VJ's pretty good, but hopefully this isn't a fluke because he's probably not going to get a head coach job in the future. Like he's probably missed his opportunity there. And now this year, I'm like, man, we're going to be in trouble if Vance Joseph leaves this building. Like
yeah,
if he gets a head coach opportunity somewhere, he has really just become such a smart defensive play caller. And there's the perception, Rhett, that and I mean, we've even said it too. I mean, we reinforce it, but like he's kind of a psychopath about the blitzes and the sim pressures.
hmm
But this year, a lot of this has been generated by three or four men rush it. Like it's not so much about bringing the blitz per se. He's getting home with four. And man, that's just changed everything about the way we play defense. So it's been huge.
yeah. I mean, he's added, and so. I mean, what's so funny is that it's kind of coming from the opposite direction, but we're ending up in a spot stylistically that is actually a lot closer to the 2015 defense than I thought
Yeah,
that we would be. That 2015 defense went from like John Fox's style of being very non-aggressive, very
yeah,
just sit, hey, sit back, don't give anything up, and they like amped it up. And Wade Phillips brought a will rush for and play man and just do
yeah,
that. And then sometimes, like Wade Phillips was really good at sprinkling in every once in a while. He'd be a psycho and would
yeah,
dial up some pressure or he'd put in some weird zones. And this is like coming the other way, where we spent a year and a half, 2 years being like, no, 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 we're going after you. Like we don't have the
yeah,
pieces in the secondary, so we're just blitzing. To we've built the secondary that we've needed, and this year we are doing a lot more of actually sitting back. We're doing a lot more
yeah,
of changing up the scheme, and it's really cool to see.
Yep.
And man, we don't really have time, but if we get Dre Greenlaw back,
Yeah, man.
brother, it might be on. It might be
Yeah.
totally on.
Yeah.
We're
I'm excited.
we're a leverage penalty away from being a 5-1 football team getting back Dre Greenlaw. I mean, the
Yep.
vibes the vibes are high right now. Speaking of looking back, oh wait, I want to talk a little bit about the offense actually,
Yeah. Can we
because the
just
offense is really,
can we lump the offense and the special teams together? Does that work?
yeah. Let's talk about the offense and the special teams
Yeah.
from last week. How
Yeah.
was it that the Jets were so good, or were we that bad?
I mean, again, like I want to give credit to the Jets. I mean, they're an
Hmm.
NFL team and everything. I'm never gonna be the guy who's like, well, we just beat ourselves. But I will say, like, this effort was pretty laughable. I don't know why the penalties continue to be such a confounding thing for this team, for this offensive unit, especially. Uh, so many pre-snap penalties, so many things that it just feels like a Sean Payton-led team should be able to iron out, and it
Hmm.
has continued to be an issue. Um, Real disappointing, especially considering how dialed in Bo Nick seemed to be early in the game. It felt like in the second half we started to move away from some of that, and we we started to like run the. It's almost like it clicked into our brains from like last week against Philly, where Sean watched the Eagles continue to pass when they were, nursing a
Hmm.
lead, and he's like, "Well, I don't want to do that, so we need to run, 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 run." And it's like, okay, well, we're not up by that much, Sean. There's still a lot of game left, and uh, I know there's been a lot of discourse this week about like tempo versus no tempo. Bo really likes playing in tempo; kind of thrives more in that. It's not necessarily a calling card of Sean Payton's. He does it when it's needed. We'll see how all that shakes out, but it just felt like we got away from what was working. I don't think this was a great Sean Payton game, to be honest. I
Hmm.
think for most of this year, he has been pretty dang good in terms of game plan and play calling. I just didn't feel that way with this game. Now we have to coming down from the ledge a little bit, you have to factor in we had been on the road for a long time. We
Hmm.
went to Philly and then we went straight to Philly out to London, and that's hard for a team. There's a lot of logistics that go into that, and it's hard, and you're out of rhythm and everything. You're tired, so there's that. But man, if we want to continue to win games and continue to be seen as a threat in the AFC, the offense is going to have to get better. Now, obviously, we see Matt Parrott struggle, and we know a little bit more now that he had torn his MCL on like the third play of the game, and
Hmm.
where you land on that, like I think I'm equal parts like admiring Matt Parrott for like his selflessness while also being like you should have cut out of the game, man. So I can cut him a little bit of slack for that. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust. Although thanks to Garrett Bowles, I think we already kind of know that. You know, I, I'll say this, right, and I want to let you talk too. Um, oh yeah, well, first before I get into this, special teams they sucked, man.
Yeah, that just,
We got to hopefully the addition of JT Gray helps this. I know Rizzy speaks real high of him. Man, our special teams has put us in so many tough situations. But the last thing I want to touch on the offense, and then I'll let you talk. Uh, why does Sean Payton call this offense like he doesn't trust or believe in Bo Nix? That's my question. Because again, we've talked about this before. He's really waxed poetic a lot about Bo this
hmm.
offseason, and that's great. You want your head coach and play caller to be confident in his quarterback. But sometimes I'm looking at what the way he's calling this offense. We were so conservative in this game, and I know early on in the season, Sean was dialing up some deep shots and Bo was missing them. He was overthrowing them, and I get that. But man, we got to, at some point, I want you to call the game like you believe in this young quarterback that you have talked about as being one of the great quarterbacks in the league. And so it was good enough to get out of London with a win over the winless Jets. Is this going to be good enough going forward? Probably not.
Yeah, I the offense of the special teams awful. I'll start with the special teams. My God, the feeling of just being like, oh, we can't we can't cover a kickoff, and
Right.
to allow, that's just such a strange thing to allow to happen, especially in a game like this. I mean, everything, it's hindsight whenever you're not in the thick of it, when you're not in the heat of battle. But this is a team, they are going backwards every time they get the ball. And it felt like, what are we doing? Like, we allowed one long kickoff, and I would have said for the rest of the game, you know what? Start on the 35. Kick it through the
Yeah,
end zone,
totally.
and just say, well,
Totally.
this that Jets offense, we would have shut them out if they had 60 minutes of opportunities to start at the 35 and try to get it. Like,
I 100% believe that. 100%.
they weren't doing anything. And then it feels the offense too. It's very strange because, like you said, what Sean Payton says and then what Sean Payton does looks like two different things. And for me, the possibilities are Sean doesn't seem to trust Bo's physical features right now. Like, he's seen too much happy feet or whatever. Like, he's seen some of that and is all of a sudden like, oh, I don't like where this is. And so he's trying to contain Bo's the some of the physical side of his game. It
Yep.
could be that he is like, wow, Bo did so good at year one install stuff that obviously he's going to do so good year two, year three as we expand the offense. And maybe Bo is behind mentally. And he's like, well, I can't open up the offense because I don't trust Bo to understand the play call. Third, the other one it's more extrapolating out. It might just be us. It might be me defending Bo too much. It could be that the wide receiver core that has Cortland Sutton and then a bunch of guys in their first or second year is not learning the offense. Like, it could be some of the skill position guys
Yeah.
maybe don't know all the play calls or something. But it feels like there is something there, that there's something limiting. It's very likely. It seems like it's Sean Payton's perception of Bo. It could be actually how Bo is. Like, I'm not saying that it's not Bo. Like, it could be Bo's the issue and Sean's doing it. It could be Bo's fine and Sean's just weirdly in his bag all of a sudden about calling Bo. Or it could be situational. If you're Sean Payton, maybe you say, "This team is so bad that we're playing. We've had some really bad juju." I have not coached at the NFL level, but I did spend a number of years as a JV soccer coach, and I can tell you, I know the exact feeling of, "Oh God, this game's not going well." like,
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, okay, okay. Like, let's limit the variables. Let's like you all of a sudden change your like the thought of like Sean Payton going, okay, like last week I talked about there's not very many game scripts available to the Jets for them to win the game. And about like halfway through the second quarter, I was like, oh God, we're in one of those like 5% game scripts where like this team like that like they got the turnover that they needed, they got the big return they needed, like everything was kind of going their way. Like, we're having bad penalty luck. And if you're Sean Payton, maybe you're like, all right, well, let's not open up any more opportunities for this team uh to get back into this game. And he just like tried to turtle in the strangest way, and
Yeah.
it eventually worked out, but it just like, oh, like the vibes tanked and then there's no way back. That like it
Yeah,
felt
man.
like it felt like that. But
Yeah.
I I'm perplexed by it. I think that I would love to see the the offense trust and like at least find out. Like, that's the weird thing, is it feels like we're not even getting the chance to see, like, let's have Bo, just let's have a couple really god awful games from Bo Nix,
Yeah.
and and let
Let's
him sink or
yeah.
swim more, because
Let's let him
then
push the ball a little bit more. Yeah, and I look at the end of the day, we came out of this 2 week road trip undefeated, and
yeah.
that can't be overstated. That's huge. At the end of the day, we got out of there with a win. That's all you can really ask for. But things are
Hmm.
going to have to get better, and we'll see. It'll be fun here towards the end of this episode talking about the Giants that present a lot of fun challenges. I do want to give a shout out real quick. I don't know if you saw any of this. I saw it on Instagram. So there's a guy named Will Gavin who I guess is he's British and he's a radio guy, and he
Hmm.
was calling the game for maybe like NFL UK or something, and
Yes.
he had some just awesome. He put a couple of clips. Or I think
Hmm.
maybe NFL, NFL UK, their Instagram account put a couple of his clips, and they were just awesome. They were electric, man. So shout
Hmm.
out Will Gavin. Really enjoyed that. I think he did a great job.
They have a much more theatrical, poetic way of
Yep,
calling games, which
yep,
which I love. I think it comes from soccer is a game that has a lot more open space. It breathes.
yeah,
There's a lot of times where there's not all that much really going on, and so you kind of have like it lends itself to that. And I thought it was really cool as someone who appreciates both sports. Those calls were sick, and it felt really
yeah,
cool to
yeah.
hear that
It was
spin
great,
on the
man.
game.
It was so great. Well, Gavin, I wasn't familiar with your game, but respect to you, man. You're doing a great job.
Great job, Will Gavin. And also, really quick on the Matt Parrott injury thing, you can see both sides. I am 100% out on this. If you are a
Me too.
if you're a team captain and you get hurt and you want to gut it out for the good of the team because everybody's looking around and is like, oh, like when Alex Singleton tore his ACL and played the rest of the game, and I think he sucks all the time, and he like sucked the rest of that game. But it's Alex Singleton, and he's kind of like a team captain, and everyone looks up to him. You know what? Awesome, good job, Matt Parrott. You're a backup left guard. You are in there for injury. You are actively hurting the team. No one's Garrett Bowles is not looking to his right, being like, "Help me, Matt." Like, Garrett's worried
Yeah,
about you.
yeah.
Matt Parrott, I like still a fan. Like when you're
I hear
healthy,
you.
you going downhill run blocking is something fun to watch a lot. Brother, let let Palcho take those snaps because like dude,
Yeah,
Matt Parrott was like I feel bad, but he was
yeah. And
active.
he had some penalties that
He had
were
like
killing
three
some
first half
drives.
penalties. He
I hear you.
his two holdings, two of his penalties negated big plays. Like
Yeah,
it was a
and
rough
I
experience.
and I agree. I just want to. I know I was real frustrated with him during the game, and I just want to acknowledge. Okay, well, it wasn't just a oh Matt Parrott sucks, uh, but
Mhm.
you're right. He probably should have gotten out there. I'm excited to see Palcho, and
Yeah.
also it works well because we activated Calvin Throckmorton, who like I know we see him as more of a guard, but he's also played a lot of tackle too. So he could be that what Palcho has been, while Palcho slides
Mhm.
into that guard spot, and I don't think we'd miss too much of a beat. So
Yeah.
excited to see how that comes
Shout
together
out,
too.
shout out to you in the group chat saying welcome to the Throctagon.
Hey, I like Throckmorton. He had a heck of a
Well,
preseason, man. I'm
he
excited to see what he can do for us. So
I'm excited. I think that he's definitely a serviceable guy. Like if he has to get out there and get some playing time, I will not be overly concerned. I am happy that Matt Parrott was hurt because I do like Matt Parrott. I do want him to be
you
good.
like that it absolves him of some of the criticism.
I
Is
like
that
that
what you're
it
saying?
absolves him of some of the
Okay.
criticism. I will add the new criticism that is like equal to or larger for me is like, brother, you're hurt. Like this is like, like we
Yep.
all lived through COVID, man. If you've got
Yep.
COVID symptoms, don't go to work, you
It's
super
like
spreader,
it's
right?
like
Like
the game was it the Thursday night game where the Giants beat the Eagles and Jackson Dart gets hurt a little bit. He goes to the blue tent and Russ comes out and there's that clip of like Russ throws like one pass and Dable's over like yelling at the people in the blue tent. This is like the opposite of that. We're like yelling, "Parrot, go to the blue medical tent. We need you to stay
get
in there."
in there. Yeah, dude.
Man,
Yeah, listen. Yeah, it's we want emotionally healthy teams, offensive lines. Like, listen, we take
yeah.
care. We gotta take care of ourselves.
What is it?
Ian,
What'd you say in the thread? What did you say when I said that? I was like, guys, it turns out Matt Parrott towards MCL and he stayed in. And you were like, toxic masculinity almost cost us the game.
yeah, dude, I mean, listen,
Oh
dude.
man,
I want someone to
man,
to shoulder up next to Matt Parrott and be like, hey, man, it's all right to have feelings. Like we don't have to be strong all the time.
it's not okay to
Vul-
not have an MCL. So you need to
yeah,
go sit on the bench. Good
more
win,
vulnerability. Good win.
good
Good.
win, good
We
win. We
got
got out of
there.
there. We got out of London with a dub. Our boys are back home.
Yeah, it's
Whew.
it's all right. Ian, we are a third of the way through the NFL season. It's so short, man.
Crazy, crazy.
It's so short. We are through the first trimester, uh, and for me, as a teacher, I think of the school system. For you as a dad, I think you think more like this is like At this, I don't know anything about pregnancy, so at
Yeah,
this point, the baby's
our team's starting to get weird cravings, stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The playoff berth is like the size of like an avocado at this point or whatever.
birth
Um,
pun.
yeah, no idea.
We
But
got to move on from that.
how are we doing? Let's start. Let's go bad and then end good. So Ian, through 6 weeks,
So
what grade would you give if this is the report cards are coming home? What's the grade that you're going to give the special teams
so
unit?
are we doing where I give my grade, you give yours, and then we
Yeah,
move to the next unit? And okay,
and then
yeah.
yeah.
Special teams, I'm giving them a D. They've been really bad this year. There have been a couple of, nice Marvin Mims returns, two-time Pro Bowler.
Hmm.
There's been like I want to like Will Lutz was really clutch this last week for us. He hitting
Hmm.
he hitting some important field goals. It's not that it's all been a disaster, but most of it has. And I think of the leverage penalty, which against the Colts, which of course we've all acknowledged is pretty ticky tacky, but it's still a penalty that ends up losing us that game. And you can't have stuff like that. At the end of the day, we can blame the refs all we want, but it's on us. Um, the Jets game was a good example of some things we just poor tackling, poor understanding of coverage on kickoffs. It has been putting our defense in some really hard positions all season long. I unfortunately have not been impressed yet with Darren Rizzi. Um, Feels like we were better off with Ben Katwika. I know also a lot of that success probably came from the first year having Mike Westhoff, possibly the greatest special teams mind ever. I am willing to give the benefit of the doubt because, as we talked about earlier, JT Gray is coming. Hopefully, that can help.
Hmm.
However, I mean, he hasn't been here this season. I can only judge what I've seen on the field so far. Might seem harsh, but I'm giving it a D.
All right, all right. For me, if I was a teacher, usually we give the grades in, and then at the report cards, I have to give two like pre-generated sentences about the student, and I would give the defense, I would give them a D plus. Uh,
Okay.
that's generally because as a teacher, I've never actually given worse than a D plus to any student that I can find a reason to not fail them. And then I would put uh, class citizenship is not too standard, shows potential is what I would say. I feel like the like you said, it's not good enough. Like the special teams has uh, cost us at least one game and almost cost us a second game. And I don't know, I don't really remember what cost us the San Diego game, but let's blame them too. So that's three games, and we've
Might
only
as
that's
well.
they've lost us three games. We've only lost two so far. So that's not good. But I will say, the punt unit looked like an absolute
That's
just
fair. That's
just
fair. I forgot to give them
disaster
credit.
uh in the
Oh, okay.
preseason, and they've turned it around.
Sorry, you were taking me going back and forth here. You were
Eh,
juking me out. I was like, he's going to say something good about the punting, and then you said
no, no,
it was a
it, 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 it
disaster.
it was a disaster in
But then you
preseason.
said in preseason, so I'm tracking with you now. I'm
Yeah,
tracking with you. Yeah.
and really it hasn't been a problem. I'm trying
No,
to
it's been
not
good.
say the name of our punter because I've forgotten it. But
Jeremy Crawshaw, man,
Crawshaw, that's right. I
the
was like,
Aussie,
it's not. I know it's not Crenshaw, but I was like, what is it? It's close to
Jeremy
Crenshaw. It's not.
Crawshaw.
Jeremy
Yeah.
Crawshaw, he's been good. Like he's had a couple really great punts. He's been pretty consistent. That's been fine. The Again, like if we just don't commit leverage, and honestly, if we don't get called for a call that just sometimes is just not called in the NFL, then we don't lose again. But the
Yep.
the coverage units, good
Yep.
God. And so hopefully we that is patched up, and hopefully that gets better.
Yep.
Um and we will see, but right now they're getting what should have been an F, and then I as a teacher did some teacher magic and got it up to a D plus because it's just the first report card. I'm not gonna fail them on the first. The kids trying. They've been there. We're just gonna figure it out. I probably pull the kid after class one day and say, hey, we got to get this. We got you and me. We got to figure something out here. But um, next, Ian, the one that I'm really actually quite interested to hear is the offense. Through 6 games, what are your thoughts on the offense? I really should have pulled this would have been a good place for me to put like stats. So I'll make them up. Through 6 games, the Denver Broncos have the 20th best passing attack and the 12th best rushing attack in the NFL. Ian, thoughts?
Did you
PFF said so.
did you actually look those up, or are you just throwing
No,
random number? Oh my
I
god,
just made them up. Did it feel right?
that's great, man. That's really great.
Did it
Uh,
feel correct?
I don't know, man. I'm
Okay.
giving the offense a C. I think there's been some good and some bad. I feel like we've already kind of talked about the bad a lot. I'll talk about what's good.
Hmm.
Our offensive line is a really strong unit. Um, they've done really well, especially with pass protection. We've run the ball well this year, which is really nice to see. J.K. Dobbins has been a really solid free agent addition for us. He's been able to stay healthy, knock on wood. Been a very welcome addition to us. Cortland Sutton is still proving to be a pretty reliable target as well, especially that Eagles game. He really showed up when we needed him to. So that's exciting. The reason I give it a C, Rhett, is kind of, and this is going to make me sound like a hater, and I don't want to be. Uh, Bo Nix is kind of keeping the grade down a little bit here. And it's not because I think he has just been flat out bad this year, but I do think he is the player that he has the most to prove. This is kind of going to go as Bo Nix goes. It's kind of like the
Hmm.
offense is doing a group project and everyone else is kind of, they've got their assignments done and they're all kind of waiting like, hey, Bo, like, are you going to deliver? Because this is going to affect our grade. Like he's got the aspect of the project that's worth the most points, and you're like, all right, are you going to come through? And I think it goes as Bo does. And look, he's still a second year player. He can still. I've not given up on him. He's still on a rookie contract, so I mean, it still works for us and
Hmm.
everything. I do think that if you look at data stuff with Bo, it's really easy to kind of doom scroll a bit. Um, I think if you watch him, there's a little more optimism, because
Hmm.
it's like, well, hey, wait a minute. Like I know he's known as a check down merchant. He can drive the ball. We've seen it, several times this year. He can put his foot down and drive that ball. He can make plays with his legs. But honestly, like coming off the Jets thing. I mean, good offensive showing against the Colts, good offensive showing against the Bengals. Towards they got it done against the Eagles. Man, I'll tell you what, they they did not get it done versus the Jets. Okay, the defense got it done. So because we don't know yet, it feels almost incomplete giving them a C.
I I like that. I I think I'm just a little bit more of just an optimist than you. That's not shocking. We've known this. I would give them. I give the offense a B minus.
Okay.
Uh, because there's times where I can see it, and I really like the flashes.
Yeah.
Um, the improvement in the running game is just night and day. And maybe it's like, maybe last year the offense was a D, and so really I should be maybe only jumping it up. But w- just the feeling of that J.K. Dobbins and to a lesser extent, or I guess with less opportunities, R.J. Harvey have brought to the running game, I think has been really huge. I have no idea what's going on with Bo in the passing offense. There are times where it feels like, hey, these young receivers are coming along. Look at what Troy Franklin is doing. This is really great. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, Pat Bryant made a big catch for a first down there. That's awesome. Marvin Mims, we're like, he just shows up randomly at
Yeah.
times with big plays and is, you never know. Um, but when they show up, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. And even the one touchdown drive that we had against the Jets, like it I thought that we were going to blow them out as soon as like we got that first score, and I was like, oh good, got that weirdness out of the way, and then it came back with a vengeance. But that touchdown drive was like a hot knife through butter. And
Sure.
I see it sometimes with the offense where we're getting a bunch of different personnel packages in. We have really creative play calls. We're hitting receivers in different spots. We're stressing out every area of the field, the middle, the outside, deep, short, calling different creative run plays. and then ending off with a red zone play call that was just chef's kiss. Um, and
Totally.
finding a completely irrelevant fantasy player wide open for a touchdown. Sean Payton in his bag. That is the Sean Payton like thing. Is like, how can I keep anyone's and like no fantasy owners happy? Like I will get touchdowns to the most random people. I love it. And so
Nate Adkins is a great barometer for like how serious of a Broncos fan somebody is, because if you mention Nate Adkins, they're either going to be like, "Yeah, I think I know that one guy," like, but other people are just going to instantly brighten because it's like, "Oh yeah, like that's the like we all know like most underrated, underappreciated, consistent player on our offense." Sorry, continue.
the secret sauce to our
Mm,
offensive success, Nate Adkins.
mm,
Um, so that drive, like I was like, it's just so good. And then I I couldn't like I could tell you like I guess that like the play calling felt right, but like watching it live, I was sitting there going, I have no idea why our offense is so bad right now. Not like, oh, I can't imagine that we've played this bad, but I'm just literally like, I don't understand why we haven't scored more points. I don't get it. I can't sit there and tell you that, oh man, the running game's been so bad, or like, oh, the passing offense is just atrocious. It's like, no, it's just like weirdly we're just like not getting a first down, and then we
yeah,
lose the ball, or like a pin, like a missed time, but like it feels more like the engine is going on a sports car whenever I guess, the last few years we've been like driving like one of the go-karts like that's run on by like a lawnmower engine. And this year it feels like we have so much more. So I would give it a B. I would say
yeah.
like I would say like classroom citizenship is approaching expectation. And then my follow-up comment would be displays leadership qualities. Like, we
That's
can
nice.
we can get there. I believe
Something
in
that
you.
something that sounds good in the parent teacher conferences. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a B minus student, but they should be an A minus or A plus student if we're being real, you
Yep.
know.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Very diplomatic. All right. Well, we can move on to the defense. I won't waste too much time with this because we already kind of talked about that a lot too. I give
mhm.
the defense an A. I think they've been phenomenal. Since I've talked a lot about it already when we covered the Jets game. I'll just talk specifically about Talanoa Hufanga, who's just been. I mean, can we talk about how he's just unlocked this whole new stratosphere for our
Yeah,
defense? The way he has
preach.
been able to roam around has freed Vance to cook up so many different things. He has been running around like his hair's on fire. He's just been a great addition. I'm really excited that Dre Greenlaw is getting close to being able to play, whether he plays this week or not. That's going to be really exciting too. Just another level of physicality that this defense needed. Nick Benito, front runner for Defensive Player of the Year right now.
Hmm.
Pat Surtain, still Pat Surtain. Love how like underrated bringing back DJ Jones was. Yeah, man. I mean, and I'll just leave it at that. They have an A. They've been doing awesome. They've been doing their job. They are the thing that is keeping us as like uh you know a contender in the AFC. They're the reason that we're 4-2. So, yep, A for them.
Yeah. I would say same. I would give them an A, not quite an A plus. I wish we had a couple interceptions. Like
Right.
that's
That's
the
the
one
one
thing,
thing we're
like
missing.
and even really just in general turning the football over. Like we're not doing that at a super high rate,
Yep.
but we're also doing the rest of like, at an unprecedented level. Not to
Right.
bring it back to fantasy here, but like as a owner of the Denver Broncos defensive special teams on fantasy, it's one of those things. It's like it's just really awesome, and none of the ways that they're winning are getting me a lot of fantasy points. Like we dominated the Jets in a way that I haven't seen one team dominate another team in years, and I got 9 fantasy points for it. And I was like, I needed the turnovers. I need,
Right. Yep.
like the
Yep.
sacks are cool, but
And
they don't really help me out. Like this is
and
fine.
one of the things that people say, I've heard this a lot lately, listening to like podcasts or reading stuff. They say, but the the turnovers will come, and they come in bunches. I think maybe Vance even said that.
Hmm.
I don't know, like I think that's just something people say. Like somebody said it one time, and it sounded good, and people just started saying it. I don't know that you can necessarily back that up with data, but I do think that turnover luck for us is probably going to start turning soon. I don't know that we're just going to get clusters of turnovers, but I do think we'll start seeing more of that.
I have a theory as to why we don't
Okay.
get turnovers, and it's this. Um, for you to get turnovers, you have to be on the field a lot for there to be like every play
Fair.
is like there's like every time you play you roll the dice and maybe you get a turnover. So many of the Broncos possessions on defense look like first down. We don't want to test this pass defense too much. We're going to run it. Okay, they kind of stocked us up. 2nd and 6. Uh okay, now we're going to throw it incomplete, sack, 3rd down and long, something like that. And we're just going to do a little halfback draw and then punt and try again next time. So really, you
That's
got
fair.
like you get one opportunity for an interception. You get like three. Like I think we don't have all that many turnovers because we don't actually play all. It's like golf. Defense and golf are very similar. The better you get at it, the less you actually play. Like I play so much more golf than my friends when I go golfing, and it sucks for them because they're paying so much more per swing. The Broncos are paying so much per swing on defense. Like we're just not out there. So that's
Yeah,
my theory as to why we don't get interceptions, why we're not getting turnovers. Is just
it's fair.
can't turn the ball over. They've already punted. So I would say the defense is an A, and the multiplicity. To just expand a little bit on your point, Talanoa Hufanga, Jaquan McMillan, Jade Barron now he's more and more showing up.
He's
He's
playing
getting more
well.
plays.
Playing
He's
well.
getting more
Yeah.
plays as the nickel corner. And then if you add Dre Greenlaw, that is four guys in the center of the defense
Yep.
that can reasonably cover and also be a blitzer and be like it it
Yep.
gives it gives the just having two of them consistently out there right now has been so huge as we get more snaps for Jade. If we get if we get Greenlaw back in, this defense like has another level that it could hit.
Yep.
There is potential
Totally.
for it to get even better. So defense unbelievable. Um Ian,
Okay.
I like that. Let's put a bow on that. That's good. Hopefully in the second trimester of the season we'll see even better things. I mean, I think the next 6 weeks we got a lot of winnable games, and so hopefully we can go 4-2 again or even better. Um, let's hand out some pants, man. Let's
About dang time.
let's do it. Listen, it's time to hand out the big boy pants awards for the week, or they're not even awards, they're just pants. We're just handing out some pants. Ian, uh which young man went on a spirit quest and came back with a new name this week for you?
I went with Trey Amos, corner from Washington.
Mm.
Listen, Trey Amos was a guy. I mean, it's funny in their rookie seasons. You spend so much time in the offseason watching so many of these guys, and then they like get drafted, and there's just too many of them for you to remember who goes where. So I was watching
Mhm.
the Bears and the Commanders, and I got excited. I was like, "Oh, Trey Amos, yeah!" Like the Washington Commanders got him, and watching him against Chicago, I thought he played really, really well against. I mean, Chicago's got some good receivers, and Trey Amos was playing really great. So I seeing that, I went back, and I know we're focused on this week, but I went back and I kind of looked, and Rhett, he's played almost 200 snaps. He's played like
Oh wow.
193 or something. He's
Mhm.
only given up 10 catches for 121 yards. I don't think he's given up a touchdown. He's already been one of the best players on their defense this entire year.
Mhm.
I feel like corner as a rookie, it's really hard to excel in that position, but he's been really good, particularly doing some really awesome things in press coverage, which, I mean, again, for a rookie corner, it takes a lot of gall and a lot of grit to be able to do that well. I thought he played really well against Chicago. So I want to give a shout out to Trey Amos, man. He's doing his thing over in Washington.
Man, I love that, and yeah, corner is a tough position, and that Washington defense kind of coming into this year needed some replay. It felt like last year's team, like they really they squeezed every bit of juice out of that defense that they could, and so to see some new blood, some new fresh young talent in that Commanders backfield is has got to feel positive for them, even though they are almost certainly destined for a feeling of disappointment because I getting back to the NFC Championship is just probably not like not even knocking the Commanders, just saying is a very unlikely outcome. So for a team that is likely like on a slow march towards disappointment, like almost certainly as a fan base, you got to feel good that they found a guy. That got to find your pieces of
You
joy where
really,
you
you really
can
just said like, "Congrats, Trey Amos on the big boy pants," but it's not really going to matter.
listen at the end of the day, you know, we're all gonna die. uh, what's the point of this? No, I believe, as Pope John Paul II would say, of all the things that don't
You-
matter, sports matters the most.
hey,
uh,
who's your big boy pants player, right?
my big
Just
boy pants player is
let's
it's
just
a
let's just go in.
my big boy pants player is a player that I've been wanting to talk about for basically the whole season, and just like have twice.
Just haven't had the platform to.
No, I've had
Yeah.
the platform. I've twice had the platform, and have twice have forgotten to bring it up. It's Colts tight end Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
Uh, I am continually just so impressed by him. This is not oh man, this week he really broke out. He's been doing it since week one. The way that and it's not just he's like, oh, so athletic, he's getting good stats. The Shane Steichen is using him in so many different ways to get the ball, which is crazy for a rookie. Where at tight end, usually the first year you're kind of limited in your role. You're not maybe out there every single down because you're having to
Yeah.
learn the passing offense and all the run blocking and the pass blocking and everything. And they're moving Tyler Warren around. They are like they had him motion and they gave him a shovel pass this week and he took it for like 25 yards or something. He's looking like a better blocker than I thought he was gonna be at first. I thought he'd get there down the line, but like he's looked like a better blocker. He's playing with just like an attitude. He is a big part of why all of a sudden this Indianapolis Colts team, they they just they look way better than anyone would expect. And here we are 6 weeks into the season, and that offense has still got the goods. They're still just a big old basketball team out there, big, large humans who are larger and faster than you. And Daniel Jones, who is just talented enough and smart enough to be able to find them, and is also Daniel Jones is a big, fast, large human as well. And it's like watching a Madden offense or something. Um,
Totally.
where they're just like, what if every player was big? What if we're all big? And Tyler Warren gives it like last year, Mo Alley Cox was like their most productive tight end, and it's like he's really big, he fits the bill, not moving like Tyler Warren is,
No,
like
not
not
at all.
so. Uh,
Okay.
Giving a belated big boy pants to Tyler Warren, who man, go off, King,
That was a
go crazy,
nice, quick, sharp segment there.
boom. Yeah, and look, we're back. Uh, we've still got time for early
Shout out Bill.
beef.
Shout out Bill Krusky Merritt, who just popped up
Shout
on the
out, Bill.
just popped up on the bottom there.
Yeah, I just started clicking slides, man.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, that's the wrong one. I just went all the way down, just clicking every slide till we got to early beef.
Early beef.
This week's early beef, we're looking at Jake Slaughter, the center from the University of Florida. Controversial here. I say he's 6'5". Ian said he's 6'4". We'll have to, if we ever meet him, we may bring him onto the program. We'll measure him live. That would be cool. Um, but until then, we're going to say 6'5", 303 pounds. He's a senior, but I wanted to add that he's only a 22-year-old senior because we're used to seniors being like 25. So he's one of them like old school seniors, and he was 2024's first team All American at center. Um, Ian, I want to, as always, start off by giving you the floor here because I think we might
I
have maybe differing opinions on Jake Slaughter.
I was gonna say if you wanted to go, I always get to go first. You're welcome to start unless you prefer me go.
No,
But I
I can
know
go. I can go
because I
first.
always get to say a bunch of stuff and then you kind of have to just come in. So yeah, go for it. Tell me
Yeah,
about Jake Slaughter.
yeah. I'll say it, and then you can first take me. Okay, you can Stephen A. Uh, for me. No, I watched Jake Slaughter. I really like Jake Slaughter. I don't know if he's a fit for Denver 100%, but I enjoyed what I saw from film. I saw his hands were really good. It felt like if he got his hands on a block, that the block was more or less over. A lot of times with centers, you're seeing in pass blocking in the game, it's a lot of grab the guy and you're kind of catching them, and you're just sort of trying to be pushed back slowly enough that the quarterback is able to get the ball off. And Jake Slaughter moves and seems to block a lot more like a guard. And this was I watched USF, I watched them play Miami, and so there were it depended on the body type, but there were a lot of times where I was seeing him really like get in and anchor well. In fact, my first note for him is just in all caps anchor, where he's not at 303 pounds. He wasn't just I'm stronger than you pulling, but he bowed his he like bowed his back, got his legs nice and wide, like dropped his butt and like did that anchor position that you really like to see. And I enjoyed that. I saw a couple really good reach blocks from him. Um,
I did make a note about the reach blocks. He's good at those.
he was really successful again, really good just like navigating the traffic. So whenever he'd be like so much of center is I'm going to get a hand on the defensive tackle and then I'm looking for the linebacker or I'm checking this guy and then there's a twist coming around and just a lot of really good managing the pocket in that way. My the knock for him is I don't think he's actually all that. He didn't look all that mobile for me when he like got out in space. There's a couple times where there's one time where who's the pass rusher from Miami, number four,
Ruben Bain. I watched most of
Ruben.
the Miami games from the last couple of
Okay,
years. Yeah,
so
that's
there's
why
a
I picked
play.
him. So that's why I picked him for early beat because I wanted to watch Ruben Bain.
Well, so we got to see a little bit of Ruben Bain there because there's
Yeah,
a play in this year's version of the Florida Miami game where Bain goes around on a stunt, and it is Jake Slaughter and Ruben Bain one on one in a little bit of space,
yeah,
like they've cleared out,
yeah,
and there's 2 or 3 yards, like Ruben Bain has a two-way go, and Jake Slaughter's butt touches the ground. He falls, he
yeah,
takes his
yep,
ankles, he like doesn't
yep,
just miss the block, dude falls over, and that is a
yep.
rough look for a center. I don't typically put it in my like scouting profile, like center needs to be able to be squared up with the best pass rusher in college football and hold up, but like that wasn't a good look in a lot of that, like the
Yeah,
quickness, which is weird. Being able to get to the reach blocks, you would think quick, but it just seemed like I don't know, he didn't have like a top speed or something. Like if he doesn't see it beforehand, I'm not sure what it was, but there was an aspect where he didn't feel very much like a West Coast center
yeah,
to me. So if we're
sure.
going to be playing that zone scheme, if we're going to be doing a lot of that, he felt a lot more like a power scheme center, which again, like I don't know. It's one of those where if I look at the stats and I look at the traits, it actually tells maybe a worse story than what I saw on the film. On the film, I was like, this kid freaking rules. Like I like this. But if he's a power center at 303 pounds, is that good? If he's a zone center and he's not moving, like I don't know. But
Yeah.
for me, when I watched him, I spent there was time on the tape where I was like, I don't know, this might be the best center in the class. So
Okay.
I
Interesting.
I had him up there with Connor Lew. I think I still have Connor Lew as number one, but he's definitely the second best. My maybe my second favorite center. I don't know.
Okay.
Him Brailsford was all right, but he's ahead of Brailsford. I think he's right behind Connor Lew. I'm not sure. I would say
Okay.
yeah. Give him center two spot for me.
Okay. So this is exciting because I feel a little differently about Jake
Okay.
Slaughter, and I would even say what I saw contradicted what you're saying, which is good because I feel like for
Mhm.
people listening, that's way more interesting than like when we were doing the Utah guys and we were both just like these guys
Yeah,
rule. Uh,
I
and
also think they rule.
I will say, Rhett, after when I watch a player, a lot of times I'll go read what other people say about it, not to like be lazy and just adapt that. Like I want to keep my perception. I just want to know, like, am I close to what
Mhm.
actual? Because like people who are listening should know this. Rhett and I are not experts at this. Like this is very much a hobby for us. So like, yeah, we know we're not experts on the film and stuff like that. Okay, we enjoy doing this stuff. Okay, don't call us plucky.
Yeah,
All right,
get off our
we don't know
backs.
what it means.
Yeah,
That being
don't
said,
call.
so I watched 3 games. I watched both 2024, 2025 Miami, and then I watched 2024 A&M. There's plenty to like about Jake Slaughter. I'll talk about some of the things. So this is interesting because you were saying stuff about him in space. I feel like some of my favorite stuff was when I got to see him lateral. Like
Oh.
I felt like as a puller, I thought he did way better at like finding his landmarks, sealing off runs than he did if he wasn't pulling and getting lateral. Like
Oh.
there were a couple times in the A&M game he really sealed off some nice runs, and I liked that. I think the ball mostly comes out clean. Like I didn't see whether it was Lagway or Mertz. I didn't see it. There was like one time Mertz, it like went right by him and everything, and I don't know if that was what the deal was with that. But for the most part, the ball came out clean. I we talked about reach blocks,
Hmm.
so I won't go into that. I will say too, like really good on like combination blocks with guys. Like
Hmm.
he really seemed to understand, how to do that. He keeps his head on a swivel while doing it. He's constantly looking for what's the next thing. I think he's really good at looking for work. I don't know how often he successfully goes and finds that work, but I think it's pretty clear he's wired that way of I need to
Hmm.
be looking for work. And so you like seeing that. Uh, One thing I really like, I read a lot about just kind of him and like kind of his, character, which is off the charts according to everything I read about. His high school coach says some pretty amazing things about him as a person. Just a lot of perseverance. Austin Barber, a fifth-year senior on the Florida line, one of the tackles, says he is the hardest working dude in the building, bar none.
Mm.
Other coaches echo that. Just a real good guy. He understands the importance of the work. So you love that, man. Like you absolutely love all that. So yeah, I mean, a lot to like. Here's what I thought, and I don't know if I said this or not, but like Rhett, I think I'm a little nervous to talk about it because what you had to say was more in line with what people seem to be consensus about. So it's interesting to me because I watched, and I feel like I've said this a lot about some of these taller interior guys
Hmm.
we've watched. So this sounds repetitive. I think he plays way too high. Like I think
Yeah.
he just plays way too. I mean, yeah, if you're 6'4", 6'5", I understand, but there were like the Miami game from this year. It felt like there were
Hmm.
so many moments where he was kind of getting stood up real tall
Hmm.
by guys and having to try to long arm dudes. And like he's got good upper body strength and everything and everything. I just don't think that's going to get by at the next level. You know, um, I like the pad level has to get better. It seems like he, like you mentioned him getting pushed back. I thought he got knocked back quite a bit. Um,
Mm.
it really felt like to me, like I didn't see the same anchor you did. I saw him getting pushed back quite a bit. Um, I don't know, like there's a story behind every single play. I just feel like I saw him end up on the ground a lot. And
I had a note about that actually. I forgot to have my notes on me, but I do remember I had a note like that where I was like, I don't know why. It seems like he just maybe goes out for the
yeah,
knockout shot and misses or whatever. Yeah, I
and
in the Miami game particularly, I saw like three or
and
four times I
let's
was just like, what are you doing on the ground, dude?
and let's preface all of this. I mean, I think that there have been issues on that line outside of Jake Slaughter. That it's not just Jake Slaughter.
Hmm.
Like there's things he's not responsible for. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, again, I thought he sometimes tries to get by on upper body strength, which is not going to fly in the pros. I also think, to be honest, it felt like a lot of times he just kind of got beat off the ball a little bit, like right from the jump. It feels like some of
Mm.
those quicker, smaller interior guys are going to be able to get that jump on him, and he's not as fast reactive as I want him to be. So some of those things make me nervous. So I like Jake Slaughter. I would put him right now, understanding that there's still a lot of season left. I'd put him late day two. I'd put him
Hmm.
comfortably behind Connor Liu, who I think is awesome. I'd probably put him a little behind Brailsford. But that being said,
Mm.
I mean, listen, can you get a starting caliber center on late day two? Absolutely, you can. And I
That's
do
yeah.
think I mean, right, you do, and I want to talk about this too. Like you talked about, like his technique, it really good. Like this guy understands how to play center. He understands.
Uh-huh.
offensive line play. So I'm not super worried about him figuring that out. But for me, if he's going to be a consistent long term starter, I think he just needs to put on more weight. To be honest, like
Yeah.
I think he needs to put on more weight, get a little stronger in the lower body, and if he can do that, then I think he'll be a really good player. And I enjoyed him. You know, we talk about prospects and if we like or
Mhm.
didn't like them. I like Jake Slaughter, and I hope he does great. I just personally watching him, I think I have more concerns than consensus does. So we'll see how it shakes out. But I enjoyed
Yeah.
watching him.
And And we'll see. I think you're a lot of what you're saying does make sense because like it could like part of it could be just like I see him do the textbook anchor sometimes and I go, oh yeah, he's really good at anchoring, and you're like seeing all the times he doesn't get to that text, but like it
Oh,
doesn't go exactly that
yeah.
way,
And real
and
quick,
and it's like, oh,
I put another note too. This isn't a Jake Slaughter thing. So did you watch the Miami game from this year? Dude, how many
hmm
drops did DJ Lagway have to deal with in that game? Oh my goodness.
dude,
There was like there
that
was a sequence where there were like three horrible drops in a row. It was
yeah,
unbelievable, man. Not that I'm like
and that was
a Lagway
no,
stan
but
or
that
anything, but I was just like, holy
That
cow.
had to have been a just an absolutely brutal game for Florida fans to watch. Like the drops came right at the same time as you're watching and you're just seeing the one side of the ball,
Yeah,
and like it was like three drops. And then the next drive was whenever Miami got to pushed it to like a two-score
yeah,
game, and it was like, oh,
yeah. I
the whole game,
remember,
like out there
yeah.
hanging in. It's not looking good. It's looking real bad. In fact, the first half of that Miami game, like I think they got their first down in the third quarter or something.
Yeah, it was
It
rough.
was a rough.
It was rough.
And then they had a little bit of momentum, and then they get the drops, and then Miami just pulled away. And it's
Yeah,
like, ooh,
yeah,
tough,
yeah.
tough for our guy, tough for our guy Jake Slaughter. But uh, we'll we'll see. This is the contention
Yeah.
point. We'll see what happens. Um, unfortunately for Jake Slaughter, he finds himself in the position of apparently being my guy. So that's a rough
The
place.
kiss of death.
It's a rough place to be. So we'll find, yeah, because my guy Audric Estime cut by the Eagles this
Eagles.
week.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
he's a free agent. He's a free agent. Anyone can have him.
Only takes one
So
team.
I'm sure his agent is fielding many calls. We're done New York in the past. Let's look to the future, Ian. New York. Um, we're gonna play all the teams from New York, and we will never want. They're not traveling to New York at all. I find that to be interesting. Um,
That is
played the
that
Jets in
is funny.
London, and we're about to play the Giants in Denver. Which is great. Honestly, Ian, tell me what makes what is the difference between the Giants and the Jets as teams? Because it feels a lot like forever bad franchises with a lot of the same issues. Even though the
Yeah.
Giants have won two Super Bowls in my memory, but
Yeah.
tell me, what are the differences?
Well, I think the difference is, I mean, some of the infrastructure. I feel like Brian Dable, and Joe Shane have been kind of like punchlines in certain moments, but also you forget that regime early on made the playoffs. I think maybe in Dable's first year, in Joe
Hmm.
Shane's first year. So there's been some track record of success. I think this roster's pretty well put together. The thing that I've been nervous about this week is New York's defensive front. A
Hmm.
lot of dudes. I think Dexter Lawrence is one of the great defensive players in the league. I would put him in like whatever the like top 7 or 8 elite defensive players are. Like I think he's up there. He's really sensational. But they also got, I mean, they got Abdul Carter and Brian Burns, who is on a tear. They got Kayvon Thibodeau, who's no slouch. You know, they've got I never know how to pronounce his last name, but Bobby Okereke or Okereke,
Okarike, yeah.
really
I've
good
heard I
player.
think Okariko. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, never
I
mind.
don't know
I
how, but
thought I knew. I don't know.
he's a good player. Their
Hmm.
defensive front is fearsome. And honestly, I mean, Denver's been far and away the best at generating pressure. New York, they're not far behind. I think they might be fourth or something like that at
Hmm.
generating pressure. Very fearsome front seven, and so I think that's something that kind of separates them from the Jets. And I mean, it feels like a different trajectory because while I certainly have like I didn't have a super high grade on Jackson Dart, he's shown some things early on for Giants fans should certainly be optimistic about. Scattaboo, same way, he's shown some good stuff. Abdul Carter, like a good draft class that they're feeling excited about. So it just feels more like the arrows maybe starting to point up for this team. So that's probably the biggest differences, I'd say.
Um, yeah, I think that overall it is interesting. So I'm wondering, I'm seeing, maybe I'm connecting dots that shouldn't be connected, but I'm finding this Broncos offense has struggled against the two big struggles, the Titans and the Jets. I think a common a common trait there from the defenses there is excellent interior pass rush, interior defensive line play by both teams. And I am, tell me if I'm maybe overreacting, but I just have a little feeling in my gut, a little bit of nervousness of like, oh man, you know what the Jets or what the Giants really haven't spent, like that Dexter Lawrence is coming to town, and
Yeah, man.
I am concerned that he may cause the "I don't know why this offense is so bad" offense that I saw in both week 1. I had that feeling, and in week 6, I had that feeling where I was like, I don't understand why we're not successful right now. We're just not successful, and it feels like maybe it's interior pressure that's causing some of that. Maybe Sean Payton will be back in his emotional bag and not in his good play call bag. Who knows? But I do worry a little bit uh for you. How does this offense, if you were Sean Payton, or whichever, you can be whichever offensive coach you'd like to be, um, what would be how should the Broncos attack this Giants defense? Where's
Well,
success going to come?
a couple different ways. First of all, I know like we really talked a lot about the need to lean into the run last week, and that didn't go so well. So I people might roll their eyes at this, but like the Giants aren't like especially great against the run. I think I think they were like the 10th most rushing yards allowed as a team. They're averaging I think 5.1 yards per carry. They have given up a decent amount of 20 plus yard runs. So you still want to keep that as a big part of your offense. As far as from what I can tell, and somebody would have to like fact check me on this, the Giants seem to run a lot of cover one, which if you're Denver, that's probably good news because Bo's actually been quite good against cover one.
Hmm.
So I would recommend, or not recommend, I would suggest that this could, if we're gonna see a Pat Bryant breakout game, it's possible it could be this one. The reason I say that is because with cover one, like running a healthy amount of slants and stuff like that. Did you see? I mean, that slant. What a
Slant
clean,
boy.
what a clean release, though, man. Honestly,
Oh, it was
on
so good.
oh my
The
gosh,
outside in.
it's so funny because of all the Michael Thomas stuff. It was just so on brand.
Mhm.
But Pat Bryant, who by the way, I mean, graduate of the Heinz Ward School of No Block, No Rock. Okay, I mean
Hey.
he's proven his value in that sense,
Hmm.
but I do think we could see maybe like a Pat Bryant, catching some stuff like that. Uh, so you know, I think that the passing game can be there. I think Sean is going to need to understand the rhythm of the game, and I would say don't abandon the run because we should still probably lead with that. But don't be afraid to let Bo do some things. Don't be afraid to play with some tempo. Um, it's not going to be easy, like and
Hmm.
Broncos fans need to understand that because you'll see the 2-4 record, and I mean, most of us after that game against the winless Jets probably aren't going to make this mistake, but some might be like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be easy." It's not going to be easy. No, it won't be
Hmm.
easy. This is a team that's really hungry. Defense that's really, really hungry. But I think that if we can stick to the run, if we can be smart about using things that are, you know, successful against cover one, uh, assuming they even do that, who knows what they'll plan? But it feels like they've been playing a ton of cover one, and I hope they stick with that because Bo has done pretty well against that this year. So that's what I'd say about that.
I like it. I like it. Ian, I know you love nicknames. Um,
Oh
let
yeah,
let me
sure.
let me. I'm gonna throw two nicknames out at you for Thomas Bryant. That we will
or
decide
Thomas Bryant
beforehand.
or Thomas Bryant. That's what you just said. You mean Pat Bryant?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he broke your brain for a little bit there.
yeah.
Sorry, continue. Okay.
Uh, Tom Thomas Bryant, Denver Nuggets legend, championship winning backup center for the Nuggets, who played like a grand total of maybe 15 minutes the whole season. Um, Pat Bryant. Uh, so so we you have I got hung up on this because of this. You had the TB12 method. What if this was the PB13 method?
PB13 method. That ain't bad.
You
That ain't
know,
bad.
it's
I like
just
that.
run a bunch of slants. And then secondly, if he really is following the footsteps of a former great Saint wide receiver, just call him Slant Boy Jr.
Slant man.
Slant man.
Yeah.
Enter Slant man.
I don't have a
Uh,
problem with us running more slants, to be honest. But
I
yeah. Anyways, sorry.
I don't. Yeah, it seems like, listen, Bo could throw slants.
Yeah. Let's
He can
let's
throw he
spam
can
those a
throw
little
the heck
more.
out of some slants. Okay, for me, I'm excited about I'm confident in this game. Even with how bad we were against the Jets, with all of the prerequisites out of the way, yes, it is the NFL. It could be anything. I can't. I don't know if this is true. I feel like so far in the Jackson Dart experience and really slash Cam Scatterbo experience for the Giants, they've been playing divisional rivals or they've been at home. I this is that's it's wild speculation on my part. I haven't backed this up with any facts, but I feel like there's been like a something element to kind of every game that Jackson Dart has been out there. Every game that
Yeah.
they finally said Scadaboo's the guy, where
Mhm.
it's a debut, it's a rivalry game, it's at home, and uh Dart in Scadaboo, that offense has been working, and a lot of it is just vibes. Like, it's Russell Wilson's terrible for the vibes. Jackson Dart, he has like a horrific
Yeah.
miss on first down, but then second down he drops a dime, or then it's third and long and he takes off and he gets the first down with his legs and everyone's like, yeah, it's good. And then they hand off to Scadaboo and he bullies someone over and it's like, "Ah," and the crowd gets
Yeah,
going.
there's
And
absolutely no way that man knows how to write cursive.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, no.
What a character he is.
Oh, that man, yeah, yeah. His signature is C scribble 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 S scribble 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 scribble, because that's what I do. They're fun. I really have enjoyed the storyline of it. Coming to Denver, being on the road, not having the crowd behind you. Um, I I would anticipate that this is a very good candidate for the welcome back to earth or welcome to the league game for this Giants offense that is young and fun and is doing a good job. But like, I don't know who on the Giants in that wide receiver room is going to get open at
Right.
all.
Right.
I don't. I literally don't know who the Giants tight end is right now. I can't name it for you off the top of my head. Um, it could be someone that I know, but
Is it
right now,
Bellinger? It's
yeah.
Theo Johnson. Theo
Oh
Johnson from
yeah,
Penn
Theo
State.
Johnson out of Penn State. I was a big Theo Johnson guy. Hey, maybe like we'll see. Maybe down the road, hopefully he's a future big boy pants guy. But
Well, you're not a rookie, so some
oh,
big Theo Johnson fan you
some
are.
yeah, some man. Okay. Wait, I'm just not. I'm gonna stop saying things that can be fact checked. I'm just gonna talk about my own emotions for the rest of this podcast. Stay strictly subjective for the rest of this time. No, but there's not a weapon that I'm like particularly afraid of. I do. Cam Scatterbo is a whole, like, you gotta bring your lunch pail to stop him. Like, he's gonna
Sure,
make you work, and he'll work out. But uh, the it doesn't feel like, it feels like we should fairly easily be able to more or less contain the weapons, and then it's just dealing with Jackson Dart as his legs,
sure.
and I don't think his legs alone are gonna beat us. And we've faced a number of you know mobile quarterbacks here. This is the third straight week. I mean, with playing a quarterback who has a lot of mobility, and this is just the new age NFL.
Yeah.
And I don't see a pathway to a lot of points for New York this
Sure,
week.
that's kind of where I'm at with it, Rhett, is I don't see like a splash play threat with like respect to Wandale Robinson, who I think has a little bit of that in his makeup. But Scattaboo has been impressive as a rookie, but I don't see him as like a guy who's going to break off a bunch of big runs. He's more of a grinder, between the
Hmm.
tackles, get you those tough yardage. They've got right now with Slayton. I don't know if Darius Slayton's going to play or not, but if he's
Hmm.
not playing, then yeah, I think Wandale and Denver legend Lil Jordan Humphrey are
Oh
lining up
yeah,
as
that's
the
right.
top two wide receivers. I know there's been a lot of rumors that sometime before the deadline they might try to make a play at Jalen Waddle, which would be a fun fit for their offense. Obviously, with Malik Neighbors out for the season, but yeah, like the big play threat, I don't see it right now. And so I'm hopeful that we can kind of contain them. Now they have. I'm excited about Benito and Jonathan Cooper because this will be a fun test because Andrew Thomas is a really good tackle, but also the other tackle, Jermaine Illuminor, is really solid as well. He's having a good year, so it'll be a fun test for them. Um, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, that's the same for me, right? And I don't want to just underestimate the Giants' offense, but I do look at it and I'm like, man, like who's going to be the guy that goes off and makes our life difficult? Like, is it going to be Wandale? I have no idea, and
Hmm.
hopefully I don't find out. Uh,
Yeah.
but we'll see. It should be fun. Uh, I think that I have a lot more questions on our offensive side of the ball about what that looks like. But if you want to, if you want me to go ahead and roll into like what my score prediction will be,
Yep.
um, I
Let's do it.
listen, I do. I've already said it multiple times. I don't think this will be easy. I think this team is hungry. I think they feel like they're ascending. They're going to be coming in fired up. They're going to be bringing us our best. They're also on kind of a longer week because they had the Thursday night game against the Eagles. That was the last time they played football. We're coming back from London, so we're kind of coming down from travel and everything. But at the end of the day, I think our defense, facing a rookie quarterback, as impressive as he's been, I think the fact that we're at home adds to that. I think that we end up winning this game. I'm going to give it a score of 23-17 Denver.
23-17 win for the Broncos. All right, this is a game where we're back to our comfort zones, right? Like you said, we've traveled
I
two
hope so.
weeks, we've been on the road, we're getting back to our family. I mean, the impact Jared Stidham being able to see his baby child um, before this game can't be measured and probably shouldn't because I don't think it'll actually impact anything at all. But congrats to him being able to get back to his child. I can't fathom that dude. They had a baby. He flew home from Denver to like welcome his child into the world, and then was like back at practice Wednesday in London. On the Matt Parrott thing. Like, dude, if you're hurt, stay home. The NFL, like, I know it's different. I know it's a very high level job. I know these guys are getting paid a whole bunch of money. You just had a baby. Jared Stidham, take the week off. We'll see you back in Denver. I if you're a starter, if it was Bo Nix, I can understand as an organization. You know what? My thing is if you're a backup quarterback for sure, where we're probably not going to need you, stay home. You had a kid. Do that. But I think that we're getting back to normal, back to our comfort zone. We're going to be back in front of our home fans for the first time in a couple weeks. We're going to be back into our routines, back into our normal beds, and I think that's going to do a lot for our offense. I hope that we are remedied, and I'm going to say that we win this game. I don't want to say 20. I don't want to use the same numbers as you. So I'm going to say 27-10. Uh, and
Okay.
and
Okay.
and we because I don't see that many points for the Giants available. I can't get there to 17. I think they get a touchdown early because teams kind of always do. They get their best punch in, and then I think for the rest of the game they just get the one field goal. And uh, we stretch it to make it look maybe worse than it is, or make it better than it is towards the end of the game. But I think that we get back, we get comfortable, we control the game, and we put them away 27-10. And it's exciting because it feels to me like maybe my first win of the year. Let's calculate it. They won last week. They won 13-11. Um, Ian, you said 27-17. I said 24-10. So you had a closer margin of victory, but I had the Jets almost exactly. They got 11 and they got 10. Um, that means that I was off by one. I was off by 10 total points, and you were off by six. You were off by more. So this was my first week.
Okay.
I guess the Jets game better than you did.
Fair
You're
enough.
now up 5-1.
Okay.
So it's time for me to start a win streak.
I hope that you are more correct about this next game than I am. Yeah,
Heck
absolutely.
yeah. We all
All
we
right.
all do. All right. Well, that's good. That's a week down. We get a couple days actually before. We're not doing the Saturday night specials. And that's exciting. We get our work done early. We can you don't have to worry about podcasting for, for the next couple days leading up to the game. You can just purely lock in on Broncos Giants. And
Can't wait.
how do we not mention inducting Demaryius Thomas into the Ring of Fame? Uh
Hmm. We have to. We got to win for
we
DT, man.
we got to win for
Whole
DT.
Super Bowl 50 teams having their reunion, so we
Mm,
got to do it, man. We
yeah.
can't let this one slip away.
I think we talked about this many years back, but I think when he retired, Demaryius Thomas, the last Broncos player that I think about as someone that is beyond me. Um, that like when they first really got going, I felt like a kid watching and looking up to Demaryius Thomas and like having a
Yeah,
childlike love of him and for the rest of his career. By the time we retired, we were into college, and we were even out of college at when he retired and whatnot. I feel like he was the last like real childhood like football hero that
yeah, man.
that I had.
Yep, and it was fun because you could tell, like he came to Denver right after, we had traded Brandon Marshall, and I remember
Hmm.
feeling so disappointed about that. And then we get this Demaryius Thomas guy, and uh, he showed some potential, and especially that Tebow year in 2011, where you're like, okay, the stats aren't there, but it feels like this guy can break a game. And then first game, Peyton Manning comes to Denver against the Steelers. He takes that screen like 75 yards to the house, and that kicks off what we knew he was.
Mm,
Those Manning years, man, he was just off the charts. Man, all love for 88, one of my all-time favorite players. Gone too soon. Uh, Hopefully, we can honor him with a win this Sunday.
Changing my prediction: Broncos win 88-0.
We love it.
Just to do it right. All right. Well, Ian, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. Everybody out there, stay safe. And if you get a chance, throw a bubble screen to a friend, and remember that 88's watching. We love you, and have a great night.
Long live DT.